Richard.
Hi David.
Good to see you here today. Royal Northern College of Music in the middle of a busy teaching day, I guess, for you.
Yeah, Tuesday morning, always a busy day here. Cornet classes and individual lessons, which is always good to do. Great to work with the students as well, some good up and coming players coming through.
Excellent.
Good.
Well, thanks for making some time for us.
No problem.
It's been a busy year for the band so far, hasn't it?
It certainly has, yeah. 2025 started with a really, really prestigious concert at the Royal Northern here for the Festival of Brass. And that was a bit of a smack in the face, actually. That was a really, really, big programme that the band worked hard at. Massive highlight for me, though, was playing, or certainly accompanying, two of the greatest soloists who walk this earth at the moment, David Charles and Euphonium. And very first time I got to meet Ian Bousfield as well, and what a wonderful player and person he was. And it's actually got me to go on to listen to some of his podcasts as well about playing, which are great resources for any musician. So that was a massive highlight. But again, obviously the band worked incredibly hard, as we usually do. Following that, we had some concerts in February, but then culminated in us regaining our Yorkshire regional title in Huddersfield Town Hall, the Yorkshire areas. That was the 5th consecutive win. I think we've now won it something like 8 years out of 9, something like that. So a bit of a record in the Yorkshire, which is great to do.
It's an incredible track record.
Fantastic record.
Absolutely. I was in the concert here at the RNCM back in January, and it was spellbinding. It was just amazing to be there and to witness that.
It was great, and the repertoire involved, test piece after test piece after test piece, and then obviously concertos by David and Ian. Really pushed the band's level to a new limit, I thought.
And to have Carl Jenkins in the audience as well.
Unbelievable.
And Ian Gregson.
Yes, exactly. It was great, and it's always it's a bit of a doing a contest for like 2 hours in the RNCM Festival of Brass. It really is, rather than just like a 10 or 15 minute piece. You're on the edge of your seat for a good 2 hours, but the band really certainly raised the standard for that.
Yeah, and when you watch the video playback, you can see percussionists playing the typewriter through David's solo.
Yes, you can, definitely. And all various kind of percussion happening. Because they're so important in a band these days. We just sit there and press the buttons down on the instruments and play. You don't see them running about all backstage doing what they're doing, and it just adds to the whole ethos of making new repertoire as well. So it's great.
Absolutely. So in the next period, the next quarter, say, what are the highlights? What are you looking forward to the most?
Well, you catch me actually probably just under a week before I fly to New Zealand.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm flying to New Zealand on Monday, the 7th of April, and to work with the Addington Brass Band and various other organisations as well. I'm working in Canterbury, Ferrymead, and also working with the New Zealand Army Band as well while I'm over there. I've not been to New Zealand for 20 years. And I had a phone call last year from a really good old friend of mine called Chris Bull, who's a cornet player with Addington Band, saying, Richard, I'd love to fly you to New Zealand again. You've not been for a long time, so when can we fit it in? And Easter time worked out well. Sad really that Becca and the girls can't come because our Easter holidays and their breaks and everything just don't work out. But yeah, really looking forward to it, and working hard out there, but managing to fit in a round of golf as well while I'm over there. So that'll be good.
Fabulous. This is another big year for the band, not least of which because you're very involved in the Bradford City of Culture.
That's right, yeah. The band's got a really big project coming up in a few weeks' time. Sadly, we're not in New Zealand, unfortunately, but the band are working really, really hard, performing some really, really special guests who I'm not going to tell you who they are.
Not even if I press you?
No, because my life's not worth it. But no, the band are working really hard, and we're really, really excited for those concerts coming up in Bradford. We've also got concerts coming up towards summer, and like normal, we get to summer, we have a nice bit of time off, got a few summer schools to do. We've got the International Brass Band Summer School in Swans, which is always a great event to do. My daughters go off to the National Children's Brass Band of Great Britain, so I'm away in Swansea, they're away, I think it's Northamptonshire this year. My wife gets a week on her own, which is fantastic. And then we all meet, have a bit of a holiday before we start back for the British Open. And then obviously KKL in Lucerne. And then a few weeks after that is the Royal Albert Hall in London, and then it's nearly Christmas again. Then guess what? It all starts again, you know. But now the band as we always do, we work hard, and that's how we get a success. And but it's a happy band as well. What we've got, so that's good.
We talked some time ago about the lessons that are available on the Black Dyke Band website. So not everybody can or has to come to the Royal Northern for their lessons. Yeah. They're available on the band's website. Could you just say a bit more about how that came to be, how that came about, and what's available?
No problem at all. So the initiative really came in the COVID years. I was approached by the Board of the Trustees at Black Dyke to film some beginner, some intermediate and advanced lessons, all of which have now been on the website for a good few years. So what we did, all the soloists, myself, Siobhan, Brett, Gav Sainer and Dan Thomas at the time, with COVID regulations being met, you know, we met at the band room and we filmed beginner lessons, intermediate lessons and advanced lessons. And it was great to do at the time because yes, it gave us work to do. It got us really thinking back to our days when we started as well. I was lucky, you know, that I used to be a peripatetic music teacher for Sheffield Music Hub as well. So I used to teaching younger people how to play. But, you know, to physically do that in front of a camera as well was great to do. And if people are lucky enough, they can actually see me playing like a hose pipe or a post horn as a beginner lesson, you know, just working on the vibrations of things and explaining the tube lengths and things like this. So it really built from there. And I've had lots of communication with people over the world that's had these lessons and they say, wow, when's the next lessons coming along? But really it's geared for, like I said, beginners, which is probably learning how to play, probably up to around about grade 1 kind of standard. And then the intermediates really from grade, say, 1 up to probably around about grade 5 standard. And then the advanced lessons are from grade 5 upwards, you know, so we're talking to grade 8 standard. And for people to start thinking about if they want to make music as a living, as a performer, and maybe come into an institution like the Royal Northern, you know, to study. So that's where they're really based on.
And of course, the principles that are being taught in these lessons are timeless, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. Each lesson kind of progresses into the next lesson and everything like that. So it's, again, everyone can pick a certain kind of standard they want to go for and go with it and try and, you know, take the advice that we're giving online, whether you're a cornet player, foreign trumpet player, trombone, tuba or tenor horn player. And just go with it and enjoy the fact that it's there in front of you on screen and you can review it as many times as you can.
So we're all very excited about the band's new revamped YouTube channel that will be launched shortly. And one of the first things we're doing is posting some of those lessons in entirety.
Yeah, I think some of the beginning lessons, I think, are going to be posted in entirety. So that's going to be great for people to go on, you know, and look at the kind of how you know, the model behind the lessons. And I know personally, when I was preparing the lessons, we've got to make them fun and we've got to make them enjoyable for people rather than just standing there and playing a page from the arbor or something, which is how I was taught. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. Really isn't nothing wrong with that, but you've got to enjoy yourself every time you pick your instrument up. If you can't have that enjoyment factor, then, you know, it's really hard to sit down and practice properly. But no, I think it's going to be a great it's going to be a great tool on the website and obviously the new YouTube channel. So you know, click down below and follow instructions below, and happy listening and happy practicing.
Well, thank you for your time today. Really appreciated it. We'll catch you again soon for some more.
Definitely.
And we'll also try and catch up with some of the other instrument players in the band too.
That'd be great. Thanks.